This means that billions of people around the world who use Android phones will be able to use Google Wallet and other services that could bring in hundreds of billions of dollars for everyone in those communities. And yes, this is also good for Google. They can add a small fee to each transaction to get more people to spend their extra money. So cool. How much sound can this handle? Right now, we don't know because we haven't seen how much traffic will go through this little process they're making, but we will. If it's already good, it will get even better. Michael Saylor and a number of other crypto executives are also meeting with U.S. politicians. In fact, this is going to happen today to help move the strategic Bitcoin reserve bill forward. This could bring in hundreds of billions of dollars in volume to Bitcoin, which will then be recycled down to Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and BNB at some point. A lot of whales are watching this information and saying, okay, if the US government starts buying like $1 billion of Bitcoin every other day or something like that, this is going to be huge. The US government can do this and they want to do it. They're just looking for ways to make this happen that won't add to the debt so that they can join this party and get a strategic reserve. That being said, they may be getting Bitcoin for a lot more than what it was worth not long ago. These people should have done this a long time ago, but they are now. Also, this is great. This should get everyone very excited because if they can pull it off, everyone in the crypto space will have a lot to gain if they know how to navigate these markets properly. And I think it's very likely that a lot of people will get too confident and not know how to handle these markets properly. So I make these videos to tell you of what I think is the best thing to do at a given time. These videos are not financial advice. They're just about what I'm doing. We'll see what happens though. Right now, earlier in the film, I also said there were some things you should keep an eye out for. You should definitely watch the whole thing through to the end. That's what's going on in the banks. That's why the Fed wants to be clear, is under no choice but to cut rates. Rates are going to go down or there will be the worst financial collapse in our generation's history. As of the second quarter of 2025, U.S. banks had lost a total of $395.9 billion on investment securities that they had not yet recognized. This is 6 times more than it was during the worst of the financial meltdown in 2008. Also, this is the 13th straight quarter of losses because interest rates stayed high. The FDIC's list of trouble banks grew to 59 in the second quarter of 2025, which is 1.3% of all banks. Losses that banks haven't yet noticed are still a big risk. When we compare what we're seeing now to the crisis that hit in 2008, it's very clear that there is a big problem here. I do want to say that 2008 was not a good year. Between 2017 and 2018, things weren't great, but there were times when they were making money, and you can see both the profits and losses building. Ladies and gentlemen, none of you watching this video are bullish nearly enough. Now, why does that happen? Well, in case you didn't know, all of the world's biggest countries and companies are putting a lot of money into crypto right now. And these aren't just small investments like, a few payment deals here and there. These purchases are worth many trillions of dollars and are unlike anything we've ever seen before. That's why I'm going to show you that in today's movie. I'm going to talk about why I'm becoming more and more optimistic, and I want to remind you that the Fed will announce their choice to cut interest rates tomorrow. All of these things are coming together to make a bull run like never seen before, but I need you to watch all the way to the end of the movie because I have some scary information that should make you take a step back and look at the markets again. We'll get to that though. Let's start by talking about the biggest economies in the world and what they're doing in the crypto area. The US and UK are about to make an announcement about a new deal to work together on crypto. What does this mean? It's possible that this has something to do with stablecoins. We know that the US wants to get really involved with stablecoins. This will increase demand for treasuries since every dollar that goes into a US stablecoin is backed by a treasury. This is good for the U.S. government and their debt, and it also makes the U.S. dollar stronger on a global level. Today, the U.S. government is basically rushing to get everyone to use stable coins instead of the U.S. dollar. This is because the U.S. economy would do much better if all banks switched to stable coins instead of the dollar. Why? Well, the U.S. government would have a huge amount of cash on hand to spend on deficits. They'd be living their dream. Besides that, it would be better for most people who buy things in US dollars in many ways. It would be a lot faster to do business. Less walls would separate those deals, and fewer people would tell you what you can and can't do. In the end, it's a net win. We haven't seen what this deal will lead to yet, but based on what I've seen so far, it seems likely to have something to do with US dollar stablecoins. And this is likely not the first time that people in the crypto space will work together on stablecoins. Most likely, it will be every country is starting to do business in this way because they all know stablecoins are better than their own currency. Some countries, like the BRICS groups, might issue stablecoins that are backed by the US dollar. Some countries may just keep buying their own stocks like the US, UK, and many other European countries do. One thing, though, is becoming very clear. Gold is being bought. Record numbers of people are buying stocks, but most of that money hasn't yet made its way into crypto. Today, XRP is up. It's at about 305, which is great, but it's not even close to as busy as the stock market or gold. As I said in my last film, and as I will continue to do so in the future to remind you, it comes in cycles, crypto, gold, and stocks. So the amount of time we have left until we start seeing movement in the crypto market is getting shorter. Based on the all-time highs we're seeing in gold and other crypto assets like BNB rocketing up to $950 per coin recently, I do think that trillions of dollars worth of new money will be entering the crypto market very soon. It goes through cycles, and now is altcoin season. You may remember that earlier in the movie I said there are also huge tech companies doing amazing things. Google is one of them. They are going to work with Coinbase to make its new AI payment system accept crypto payments. His is pretty much the first thing Google has done to make it easier for people to use crypto payments. I want to be very clear about this. It's possible that Google will add this directly to Google. I think that the banks are hoping that the markets will go crazy again once interest rates are dropped enough, then everything will be fine. It's not a given that this will happen, but if the Fed doesn't do anything, it will put the world economy at such a high risk that they would have to. It would be 1,000 times worse than the financial collapse of 2008. This time, the Fed would have to do a lot more printing and liquidity to save these banks than they did in 2008. And that's exactly why I know the Fed will probably keep lowering rates to keep this boost going for a while longer. Rates have been way too high for too long because of the Fed's actions, which are bad. There is, however, a small pattern here. Losses aren't as bad as they used to be, and rate cuts will only help this case. I hope that soon the banks will be able to get back on their feet, the economy will be booming, and the stock market, cryptocurrency market, gold market, and everything else will be growing. For now, though, I'm going to keep giving you guys these numbers because they are very important. The quality of the CPI inflation statistics is also getting worse. The Fed is not trusted by many. They don't trust the information that is being spread about them, which makes sense since it is always being changed. A lot of people are angry at the Federal Reserve, and if they don't lower interest rates, they'll have a lot of people ready to burn down their building. So to be honest, that's just how things are looking right now. They don't have to do anything else. That's why I want to bring this up again now that we're back to XRP. What a nice little rally we just saw. I want to show this to you guys because look at this. This is lovely. Okay, right here, my indicator warrior signal gave me a buy signal. This is when we pretty much hit our bottom here for XRP, somewhere around 295-ish. Then immediately following that, we are now up where we are now at about 305 if you bought this. This trade is being held with 5x leverage from, say, 295 to 305. You could have easily made 50% more money on your investment with 5x leverage or 100% more money with 10x leverage. And this is why Crusader code is being used today, because you will always be killing it if you pay attention to the bias signals and hold until the sell signals, as we can see over here. Here is a warning for bias. These are the sell messages. Without much risk, you could have easily made over 120% if you had sold way up here on this investment alone. Since you bought right here and are still in the same spot, you could be up about 60%. So cool. This kind of growth is what you can expect from Crusader Signal all the time. I've tried it over the last year on Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, and XRP, and my strategy, which you can read about when you sign up, has won all of them 100% of the time. Now, what do you wait for? You can sign up for a monthly, quarterly, or yearly payment. The longer you stay with me, the less you pay. I'll see you guys in there. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a review, and click on the live link below to join Crypto Crusaders. I'll see you all there. Lots of love. Goodbye.